Hello and welcome. I have a little bit more room. They've cleared that bush, so I'm now back on the beach to talk to you, where I haven't been for a couple of days. And actually that leads me to one question. Continuing with your comments and questions today, we'll talk about those. Which was, are you okay, Bhante? I haven't got the question in front of me, it'll come up in a minute. You haven't been posting or something so much recently. Well, that is correct. I have recorded less videos just recently. I have been concentrating on settling into my practice here. After all, that is the purpose of my being here in this place, very conducive for the practice. And that's not to say that this is a permanent state. I will continue to record these videos. They don't interrupt that practice too much. However, what does happen when I reduce making the videos down to just 3 days, as I have recently, I have a little bit more time free for visitors coming to see me at around the weekend time, which does happen. So that is why, but that won't always be the case. I might continue to make videos each and every day. It's no fixed thing, anicca, uncertain, or usually translated as impermanent, but it's the uncertainty. I just really go with the situation as it is. So if I make a few less talks, there are also a few less comments and questions. So therefore less to talk about. It goes hand in hand. And it's just given me a little time to really concentrate on my own practice. Hopefully in that time, you've been able to maybe review, look back and watch some of the older videos. If you go back and look at the older videos, YouTube do automatically, to some extent, categorize them in their paragraphs and sections. So you can skip through a lot of bits and find answers to questions you may have that have been answered previously. However, the one caveat, or let's say a slight warning I'd say on that, is I do, as these are unrehearsed, jump around quite a bit. I may begin answering a question and go through talking about other subject matters and come back to that question somewhere in the middle of the recording or right at the very end, because I feel this is a talk heart to heart on Dharma. It isn't a series of lectures, it isn't even really a teaching. It is I'm sharing with you my experience of the practice as a monastic, but how it also relates to people in their lay lives. So it doesn't have that rigidity about it that allows a computer algorithm such as YouTube to really define the questions and answers like that. But carrying on with the questions and answers, oh yes, but you asked if I was well. I am very well, thank you, and really benefiting from the ability to have so much time, being so well supported to practice. My new kuti, or vihara, dwelling place for the future, is well underway now. It's had to have a whole new roof. They took all the old tiles off, built a new wooden roof, and put all the new cleaned tiles back on, or the old tiles back on. So it looks very nice, and they built a new roof for a veranda, a sheltered area in the front, so I can meet and greet people that come to visit, and also make these talks when the rainy season, monsoon season arrives, from some shelter, but in a nice, peaceful, forest, pleasant environment, a place suitable for monks to live and practice, and hopefully you to join me in the future in these talks. That will all be coming soon. There's no hurry. It's being built, taken care of, all of the work that's going on in there, electrics, water, this kind of thing, plumbing or whatever, woodwork, is being done out of the kindness and generosity, the dana of lay Buddhists, people here. So there's no hurry. They can do it. It takes as long as it takes, as is necessary. They're doing it for their pleasure of giving, and really their way of really donating so wholesomely dana to the Sangha for not only in my lifetime, hopefully, but others who come after me, or maybe even to join me one day. So this is very meritorious and wonderful action, karma, on their part, and has to be highly praised, and also I am very grateful for and appreciative of. So that is underway, and in the meantime they're accommodating me very comfortably in one of their other places very nearby to it, just here. So we are looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to that, and hopefully also if time comes, that I can help them by way of any sharing I can do of any donations that are received by this channel. I will pass that on to those people for their assistance in their practice of dana, giving, developing punya. So the first comment, excuse me, right, that's what I needed to do. I have a slightly different setup here so I can read the questions more clearly to you, I hope. Excuse me. Right, okay. What would the interaction be like if the Buddha and an Arahant met for the first time? Say, Ajahn Chah, for example. As lay guests and monks bow to the venerable monk, abbot, and or the Buddha, what would the Arahant do? Okay, well, if that was the case, whether an Arahant, Ajahn Chah is a Thai Forest master, highly attained Arahant monk whom is no longer with us, his reputation continues very strongly in the tradition of the Thai Forest, tradition of Thailand, and throughout the world. But if Ajahn Chah was to come in contact with the Buddha, much like the Buddha's own disciples during his time of teaching, he would, to one side, bow 3 times, hands in Anjali, to the Buddha. Because this is how it's recounted in the suttas, that his noble disciples, the Arya Sangha, whom were arahants and enlightened beings, would do this, did do this, bow always to their superior in the Sangha, as I would bow to any monks. In fact, that's most bhikkhus, because I'm quite a junior by comparison bhikkhu in years, that is vasas, number of monsoon seasons in the robes. As a fully ordained bhikkhu, I bow to my seniors, and juniors would bow to me. As lay people, bow to all monks. But we're not bowing always to the individual. We're bowing to what the robes that individual is wearing represents, which is the Sangha. So in turn, one bows 3 times, bowing to the Buddha, to the Dharma, the teachings of the Buddha, and the Sangha. So the noble Sangha whom is carrying on those teachings in the lineage of the Buddha. So whether you are an Arahant, highly attained monk, or whether you're a beginner on the path, you would always bow out of respect to senior monks, if you're a monk, and as lay people to the Sangha, so to all monks. So there's no exception, not even for dear Ajahn Chah, because Ajahn Chah and even his teacher, as Ajahn Chah would have bowed to Ajahn Mun, his teacher, well, it wasn't his official teacher, but we consider Ajahn Chah in that lineage of teaching, in the style of practice of Ajahn Mun. Ajahn Chah, when he went to see him, would have bowed to his teacher, of course, as well. So yes, indeed. It won't happen, however, because the Buddha was a man who attained to Nibbana, and in fact Parinibbana, which is the ultimate Nibbana of no rebirth, and after death, physical death of the physical body and the thinking brain, no more rebirth into any realm. So although we hear of stories in biographies of the Buddha appearing in dreams or in phenomena throughout meditation experiences, whether or not this is verifiable, we cannot ever know. But if that was to be the case, one would feel the urge, the need to bow out of homage to the Buddha. Of course, we all feel, if we're Buddhist practitioners, the benefit of prostrations or bowing in front of a Buddha image, because it's mindfully reminding us of our respect for our teacher, paying homage to the Buddha. What kind of microphone do you use? It's great. It's okay. It's only a very cheap wireless microphone ordered online. The best I could get here in Sri Lanka, because the one I had before that I got in India ceased to work, broke, stopped working, anicca, dukkha, anatta, out of my control. So I had to get a replacement online. And that is what I'm using now. Unfortunately, the reason I say it's not great is because it does have some levels of noise cancelling on it, which I prefer not to have. Why? Because it's nice, I think, to have the background noises of the birds, the crickets, the ocean waves, even a little bit of wind noise, and the ambience of where I'm talking to you from, rather than this kind of stilted speaking and it going silent in between, which it does. These noise cancelling microphones do effectively, but I think they take away the depth of the recording. But this is set on its lowest setting of that kind, but unlike the previous microphone, that you could turn it right off. So I am looking at trying to get another microphone, but at the moment the one that would be better, you see, you can probably just about hear the train coming in the background now. I'm not sure what happens if I stop talking, whether it cuts it out. I'll maybe if I listen back I'll find out. But it's a very cheap microphone, but I was thinking of maybe asking if we could get a slightly better one, but at the moment they're not. The one I found that would be most ideal for this situation isn't available in Sri Lanka. When it is, I will see if one can be ordered online. But it's nothing special, just any kind of wireless microphone. Anyway, that's not really Dharma, is it? Back to hopefully something of that nature. Chanting. Someone enjoying the chanting and practicing the chanting themselves. So I say sadhu, sadhu, sadhu to that, because it's a really great way of reminding yourself of the Buddha's teachings. This is the point. It's not praying and worshipping, it's reminding us of his valuable teachings. But also reminding us of the qualities of the Buddha, the Dharma, the Sangha, and ways of really instilling these qualities in ourselves by continual reflection. And a way to continually reflect is by chanting. Even if it's in the Pali, when you get to know the meaning of the Pali words, you know the meaning of what you're chanting. Now, I haven't been doing my morning chanting because where I'm staying, sometimes there may be other people staying nearby whom aren't familiar and would find it, as I would imagine, at 6 a.m. in the morning, rather disturbing. Coming from the West myself, natives, locals here they're very happy to hear it at whatever hour. But someone on their holidays, for instance, staying here, mightn't be so pleased. So out of respect for any neighbours, although I haven't really had any, but when I do, I'm never sure whether they're there or not, I haven't been chanting early in the morning. In my new venue, the new kuti or vihara, whatever we decide we'll call it, depending on how it finishes up. It is being built to the correct specifications, as is laid down in the Vinaya Pitaka, our rules. So in that sense, it is a kuti. But a vihara, because it's got some extra areas where I can receive visitors. So that's the best of both worlds. But when I'm there, I will resume morning chanting and maybe even evening chanting on a daily basis, which will be streamed live. By then, hopefully, with a new microphone that will sound very much more nice in terms of the quality of the sound, the ambience, the room where I am in, and the background forest sounds of Sri Lanka, which are very pleasant indeed. It's a little bit further from the railway line too. That'll be a very background noise there, and there's no road noise either as before. So I'm looking forward to that, but that's going to be in a few weeks, but it will resume. Again, not really much in the way of Dharma, but we're covering some useful points for the first talk of the week. Here's a question. If an ordained monastic cannot cook but also lives on his own, how does one feed him / herself even if it's only once a day? Well, I've obviously spoken about that many times before. I go into the village nearby with my bowl, and people put cooked food in my bowl. I come back to my kuti and eat the food. Each and every day I do that once. I leave here at 6:30 a.m, just after dawn in the morning, walk into the local village or through the local village into the town, through the market, and return. Carrying the surplus, because there's quite a lot more than fits in my bowl. I have quite a big yam, a bag I carry back with me, and I eat what I have in my bowl at around 9 o'clock. Sometimes before that, at around 8:30, or even before, when I leave in the morning, people might come to where I'm staying and they bring food that's already cooked and prepared, nothing raw. Drinks also, things like that, and I have my meal. The surplus is then shared, distributed by local people in the vicinity where I'm staying to those in need and appreciative of some nice food in the morning, and some other requisites that I might have in abundance, like extra soap and things that I've got plenty of, and things that maybe they have use for, so that I don't end up storing things, because we can't store food overnight. So all that I'm offered in the morning, and there's a lot of fruit and things, has to be used that day, and I like to have it all cleared away by noon, by 12 o'clock, which is the official time we stop eating, so that I've got the rest of the day clear for practice. So there's not people coming to pick up food or me distributing it, and people are very respectful of that, and that's what happens. And it's working just as well here in the new place as it did in the last place, and hopefully it will continue to do so, because it's not only benefiting me, it's benefiting others, and it's also given me the wonderful opportunity of being able to give. I can give dana. As monks, we can give very little because we have nothing. We can share the dharma as dana, giving, dharma and dana. How good is this microphone? Does it pick it up, that difference, and na and ma? I have this opportunity. And I was talking to one of the upasakas visiting about this, who was taking some fruit and giving it to a parrot. And the parrot was really appreciating the food. And the upasika, that's a lady lay person, as opposed to upasaka, which is a man lay person, was very smiley, having given food to the parrot. And I said, how does it make you feel to give? And she said, oh, well, good. And I said, happy, yes, and yes, very happy. And the parrot's happy, she's happy. But most importantly, we get so much happiness from giving. And I get so much happiness from going on this Pindapata, alms round, each morning. It's quite a long way, it's a long walk. Sometimes it can be very hot, sometimes it can be raining and not very nice at all. But it doesn't matter. I have to go a long way, it's in bare feet. And also I've had a bit of an injury recently, which is, thank thanks to all of your help and support and everyone's good wishes and blessings, I'm all healed and better now and fit as I was before. Hopefully more so. But even so, I get so much, I look forward to it so much because it is such an enjoyable experience. Because although I'm only receiving, it seems, what I'm doing is I'm giving the opportunity for people to give, whatever it may be. One cracker, one little biscuit is just as much of a pleasure to receive as a whole meal of rice and curry and vegetables and fruits, because I get the smiles on the people's faces for being able to put something in my bowl, which puts a big smile, even though we're supposed to be a little bit serious as monks, a big smile on my face too, to just receive their generosity. It is the most wonderful experience you can have. And if ever you get the opportunity to visit me and come on Alms Round Pindapat with me, like some people have now, do so, because that's how I really did get a feel. And the impetus, the extra virya, energy to myself go forth into monastic life in order to ordain, to become a monk, came from the enthusiasm, came from that experience of going on alms round in Thailand with my monks that I was staying with there as a layperson, and seeing the pleasure you get from that alms round Pindapata experience. It is a wonderful interdependent, mutually beneficial interaction of monks and lay people, the fourfold assembly, bhikkhus, bhikkhunis, upasakas, upasikas, monks, nuns, laymen, laywomen. The four legs of a table, the table being the Buddha Sasana, the Buddhist religion, requires the lay people and the monastics to stay firm, to stay steady. Without that Pindapata, without that daily interaction, they become a them and us. It becomes a them and us situation, rather than a family of mutually supportive individuals, all helping each other and all deriving so much happiness from that activity. It's a wonderful experience. So a short question that's been answered many times before, but perhaps a long answer because it's such an important part of my day. And seemingly others people's day here now also, because on the occasion that I haven't been able to do it, when I was unwell, people all came to the house because, well, the vihara where I was staying, to bring their offerings, because, and also most importantly, because they wanted to check that I was okay. So how is that for a caring society? It's wonderful, isn't it? All through all the results, vipaka, of these actions, karma, okay, they're the Pali words, results, vipaka, and karma, actions, of what the Buddha taught bhikkhus, bhikkhunis, the monks, the monastics to do. Okay, there is no such thing as an entirely pure motivation for the monastic life. So that's a comment, a statement. Okay? What does that mean? There's no such thing as an entirely pure motivation for the monastic life. Maybe, maybe not. I would say I've just spoken of one of my motivations. I don't think that's impure or unwholesome or unskillful, a motivation to become a monk, to experience happiness. I don't think that's impure. That's wholesome desire, pure desire, as opposed to craving and thirst, for instance, say the motivation for intellectual knowledge, to be better than other people, to have material gain, which would be impure kind of desire, tanha, thirst, craving. I would say motivation for a monastic life, however, even if it was slightly impure, as a result of becoming ordained and having to live in this form, or living in this form, because no one has to, one could disrobe the following day, but maintaining a life in this form will develop purity of intention. This is how it's designed. to train our minds, to purify our minds. This is the whole purpose of being a monk, being a nun. So even if one sets out with the incorrect intentions, as you imply, although I don't necessarily agree with that comment, because there's nothing really to attract people with the wrong motivation to monastic life. The only attraction is a purification of mind and happiness or contentment. So the practice in itself of Sila, Samadhi, Panya will result in a purification of the mind, however you started out. Okay. At this moment in my life, I'm more interested in meditation than watching television or socializing. I was just about to go meditate. Then a friend texted and asked if I wanted to watch a movie with him in virtual reality. Now I don't know what to do. Oh dear. Meditate. That's what you do. No problem. If in doubt, do nout. Nout is an old-fashioned English word shortened from nothing. So if you don't know what to do, don't do anything. Is usually a safe bet. So you don't know what to do, don't do anything. It is going to be more wholesome and skillful. I'm not really sure what virtual reality movie watching entails, to be perfectly honest with you. Probably something a lot more than just watching a plain old movie on the television or at the cinema even. However, it's all going to be an experience of seeing and hearing, mainly. Maybe virtual reality includes some smelling and tasting and touching and all of this as well, in which case it's even more of an overwhelming sensual experience. It is perhaps much better to practice meditation than that, because that could become a form of distraction. It can become a pleasure gaining experience, and from pleasure that we receive, we gain, we usually want more of it, but require more of the stimulation to get it the next time. This is how addiction is created, how addiction builds up, how we become in this cycle of addiction bound and tied to these problematical things like drugs and alcohol, and even these days apparently pornography, things like this, or even just watching movies on TV. Although just watching movies and things on TV isn't morally or unwholesome, it's not a immoral action in itself. In terms of trying to purify the mind, you are distracting the mind from what this practice involves, and that is trying to watch the mind's behavior without distracting it, in order to learn to become content with simply being able to have peace and tranquility and calmness of mind and a relaxed and settled body. So this is going against it, really. So if you're in doubt, you don't know what to do, then the answer is always just don't do anything. Unless that was going to, well, if something needs to be done, you will know it needs to be done, so you will have no doubt. But when in doubt, just do nothing, and then the answers will come along. But I'm glad that you're finding doubt in that in the first place, because it means your practice is working. You're becoming disenchanted with usual forms of entertainment and preferring to look at meditation as an option. That's very much an advancement on the path towards Nibbana. That's going in the right direction with your practice. There's that question, are you posting less, Bhante? I hope you're okay and well and at peace. Yes, I am, thank you very much. And yes, we've answered that one. Okay, right. Okay, now what time did I start this? Okay, I've just skipped quite a long question, although it's quite a short answer, but to read it might take us a little bit over. I didn't check the time even, so I'm never sure. I'm guessing we're coming up to a good time to perhaps bring this little talk to a close. But let's look at this question first. Hi, could you talk about energy centers, chakras, or if there is a Buddhist viewpoint? I had a Kundalini awakening 10 years ago. No, 10 years. Got awakening 10 years. Got and searching for answers. Yeah, I'm not sure what. So, I think maybe that's a mistranslation. However, we don't have energy centers, chakras, and Kundalini methods of practice, meditation, pranayama, any of these things in Theravada Buddhism. Theravada Buddhism is quite simple in terms of practicing moral virtue, meditation, of allowing the mind to just settle and become tranquil by keeping our conscious awareness on one simple meditation object, like in anapanasati, which is mindfulness of the breath in Pali, watching the breath as we breathe in and out, just not forcing the breath, trying to get phenomena to arise, experiences from meditation, but to treat all experiences we see, hear, experience in meditation as just that, experiences, phenomena arising, maybe staying a while and passing away, just that, nothing more than that. So rather than trying to get experiences, dwell on them and looking for answers, see the answers in the purity of our minds that is there if we simply allow our minds to settle and become tranquil and calm. What are the answers we're looking for? What are these things we're seeking? We're seeking happiness. Now that comes from contentment, and contentment comes from being content with simply being able to sit tranquilly, peacefully, equanimously, watching the breath and having our bodies feel at ease and in comfort. Is there anything about, here's a question that comes to mind. Is there anything about lay life that you miss? No. Chips. Other than that, no. So that's a fairly insignificant, unimportant thing. Chips. Chips, because chips are quite tasty. Chips, I don't mean crisps. I mean chips as in English, or even fries like one would have in McDonald's, those French fries. Because we don't get offered those as monks very often. In Thailand you do, because they're aware that monks don't eat after noon, so some shops that make chips do make them earlier for offering to monks. But in most places, people don't start cooking chips until either lunchtime or evening, so no chips are available in the morning. So like roast potatoes or all quite unhealthy really, so it's probably good that I don't have those. But that's a very unimportant and insignificant thing. I'm not trying to give you a facetious answer, but there's nothing I really feel that I miss in lay life at all that comes to mind. Well, what comes to mind is chips, that's it. Sorry, I can't say it's anything more exciting than that. But I mean, I'd love some chips. Not now, because I think it's probably 12 o'clock. But even if it was after 12, chips with even some salt on and some tomato ketchup. Or in England, we have them with salt and vinegar. Yes, chips, very nice. And this question, are you okay? You seem lost. Yeah, I'm okay, thank you. And I am lost because we're all lost. Do we know where we're going? No. Do we even really know where we are? We think we do. We see, hear, smell, taste, touch, experience, feel. And we think about this. And more often than not, we're drawing from our past experience and we're predicting into the future from those memories what we expect, how we expect things to be. This isn't actually knowing, is it? So therefore we're lost. It's all speculation. All we can know is this current moment, present, here and now, this breath as it is. We don't even know if we'll have the next breath coming along, or whether we won't survive that long. So in that sense, I think on the occasion you're referring to, I possibly was, because I was sat down here to talk to you and then was unable to, for one reason or another, and moved to another location. So you might have caught me on the hop, and in that sense of the word, probably I was. But thank you for your consideration and kindness. I am very well, thank you. Or anumodana, I should say. I think that would be enough for today. I keep thinking I've come to the end of the questions, but there seem to be more than I thought. So on that note, if there's something useful there, I do hope you can use it, incorporate it into your practice or into your daily lives, into all of your activities, and it's useful for you. If not, then just please let it go, forget about it, and don't let it worry you. So in the meantime, be happy and stay well. Sukhi Hotu.